Thank you for tuning in. You're watching My Journey with Paula G. And we'd like to thank our underwriters, My Coffee Shop of East Lake, Atlanta, Georgia, home of the amazing basil lemonade. And also, we'd like to thank Dr. Paul and Marcia Kelly. That's right, Dean and President of Pastors Time International Bible College. And we'd like to thank Positive Power 21.org for our media. Thank you for tuning in, and we hope you enjoyed this presentation.
God, he's got a lot of power. And he's coming. He's in the house. I told you he was coming.
Change is coming. Never give up. God will change things. Change is coming. Never give up. See what faith brings. We don't always do what's right, so we convince ourselves we do our best. But deep inside we know we lie. It's not that hard to do right. Do you really try? But take off your mask and show the world just how beautiful you really are. You gotta know when enough is enough. Give your heart and mind to Jesus. Give the devil back his stuff. Never give up. Never give up. Never give up. No, never. Never give up. No. If you hear the words I'm saying, on your knees you should be praying. Change is coming. Never give up. God will change things. You better believe it's coming. Hey, change is coming. Never give up. See what faith brings. Do you struggle with this gift called life? Do you drink and drug to help you cope? Face your fear before it takes your life. Help's not far away. Don't It's always darkest just before the dawn. So why condemn yourself? Why live a lie? You gotta know God will change the world. Come on, people, raise your children. Wake up before you die. Never give up. Never give up. Never give up. No, never. Never give up. No. Never give up. Never give up. Never. Never give up. No, never. Never give up. No. Never give up. Never give up. Never give up. Never give up. If you hear the words I'm saying, on your knees you should be praying. Change is coming. Never give up. God will change things. You better believe it's coming. Hey, change is coming. You gotta know. What faith brings. When enough is enough. Change is coming.
Hey family, I'm Paula G, and this is My Journey. I'm so glad to be starting another episode of My Journey, and I'm glad that you have joined me on this journey. And before we go any further, I want to thank a couple people. Mr. Jerry Royce Live, Positive Power 21. We want to thank him so much for his support and sponsorship, as well as Dr. Paul Kelly and First Lady Marcia Kelly, Pastors Time International. We've got some great things coming up with Pastor Kelly, so you want to stay tuned. But today, I'm so excited to have this gentleman sitting next to me. You know, sometimes you are on social media and you meet people through social media, and then when you actually get to meet them in person is a beautiful thing. And that is the case with this gentleman, Mr. Dwayne Gott, who's here today on the couch.
How are you?
I'm wonderful.
The pleasure's all mine. Thanks for having me.
Likewise.
Yes, and I enjoy you on the radio.
Oh, I appreciate that. It's good to be enjoyed on the radio.
I think that's the first time we was introduced, so it was on the radio.
Yeah, it sure was. Yeah.
So definitely a pleasure to meet you.
Oh, likewise. So tell the audience a little bit about Dwayne Gott. Who is Dwayne Gott?
Oh, first, Dwayne Gott is a man of God, father, husband, grandfather, deacon, and a musician.
Deacon.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't catch that. Deacon
Yes.
Gott.
Deacon Gott.
Deacon Gott.
Yeah, they call me Deke sometimes in church.
That's good. So tell us about your music journey. How did you start with your music?
Oh, as a teenager, I started playing the bass guitar because I seen another young guy about my age playing it. It inspired me. I asked my parents to pick me up one, and they said if you do good in school, we'll get you one for Christmas.
That's always the deal, right?
That's always the deal. So I did okay, and I woke up Christmas morning, there it was. And my sister was dating a young man that knew how to play, and he heard me fooling around. He said, "Let me show you something." And he showed me my very first song, Papa Was a Rolling Stone.
Papa Was a Rolling Stone. We all know it.
Yeah, I played it every day and every night for about a year. And my older sisters were like, "That's the only song you know?" Boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
You played your heart out.
I played my heart out.
That's right.
Yes.
Excellent. So from there, where did you go from there? Did you go to into the church, or did you work with bands, or how did it grow from there?
Yeah, right away we started out in junior high school and playing inside the music classes, and we also started an outside band by the name of Hot Ice at the time, and we was doing an R&B thing, a little bit of jazz, mostly radio music that you hear on your regular radio stations, and it grew from there.
Right.
And we would do all the nightclub scenes and a few outside of the state gigs. But then we went into doing originals and trying to get a record deal, and that didn't really kick off.
Pan out. But this was with the same group.
Yeah. No. We switched groups throughout the years. It's like we changed names from Hot Ice to Finesse to the one that really stuck with us was Kingdom. Yes, Kingdom.
I know a lot of those names of those bands, Hot Ice and Finesse, and all of these different names of these bands back then. Just I just find it interesting sometimes.
Yeah, I guess we thought by changing the name of the group would help us to find success.
Right.
It was the same members basically.
Right.
Feel good friends of mine. Yeah, so that really didn't work out too much. It just didn't happen.
So going through growth, though, kind of transition and going, and that's, I guess, part of the journey, too. Sometimes as you're going in one direction, whether it's a member change or the name of the band changes, it's part of the process.
Right.
You have your successes and then you have your failures, but the key is to keep going. So some of it didn't work out, but something worked out because you're here.
Oh, yeah, definitely kept going.
Right.
No questions asked. I started getting into a little production as far as playing keyboards and programming different types of drum machines, and then my wife grandfather was a bishop of his church, and she grew up there. So I followed her to church, and I found it to be interesting. And I kind of found a little foundation there as far as playing, because I was invited to play, and I was kind of learning the gospel field and music, and it grew from there, because we didn't stay there as members. There was a time when we just wasn't attending church at all, and we knew as a family that we needed to find a church, and that's when we came across, and God led us to Bishop Hezekiah Walker. Well, he was Pastor Hezekiah Walker then. Yeah, he's Bishop Hezekiah Walker now. And we've been with him for the last 23 years.
Oh, so you've been with him for quite.
Yes. Yes, we started back with them in 1996. Yeah, and once they found out that I played, they also said, they invited me and said, hey, bring your guitar in on a Sunday and let's see where it goes. Yeah.
Because that was back in the day. I mean, there's still church choirs now, but back during the time when church choirs were really, were they up and coming? Were they huge? I mean, we've always had church choirs, but there's been a shift or a change in the music.
I would say, choirs was pretty much upcoming back then, but you still had, your great choirs out there doing their thing. They just wasn't, making a lot of noise, or radio wasn't playing like they are today, but they definitely was on the move. And our choir, the Love Fellowship Tabernacle Choir, which is a church choir, we recorded our first live recording at our church. And from there, if you ask me, that's when a lot of doors started opening up for choirs after that, because Bishop really supported it, and he presented it, and a lot of people grabbed to it. The songs were great, and I believe that really made an impact for choirs.
Well, what were some of the struggles during that time period? Because you were saying you were introduced to the church as far as the music and the choirs, and then before that you all had kind of gone through some trial and error. So can you speak to some of those experiences and some of the things that did work out, maybe some of the things that didn't work out during that time that have brought you to where you are today?
Well, before the transition from the secular to gospel, the music industry it's kind of tricky, especially back then, because they wasn't signing a lot of bands back then. Maybe an individual artist here and there, overnight sensation or success. But we just couldn't get that break because no one really wanted to sign us. Nobody really wanted to listen to us. So, once we decided to join the church, God just started opening doors, because I realized that my gift came from Him, and I was giving it back through my playing, and through the teaching that the bishop would teach, and learning about different music and the spirit behind music, and coming to learn that all music was created for God's glory. Right. And then, things happened up in heaven, and Lucifer got kicked out, and music started to change, and that's a whole other topic right there.
But you're right, though, because you were saying you started in the you started playing, and you were playing in different groups and different clubs and things, and it just wasn't quite working out. But when you got to the point where you began to use that gift, because it is a gift, so you began to use that gift that God gave you, it wasn't quite working out. But once you started using it within the church
for God's glory, that's
for His glory, then that's
well, I believe for me, God had His hand on me the whole time.
Yes. Oh, definitely.
And there were some doors that He just wouldn't allow to open.
Because He was guiding you.
Yes.
Kind of leading.
Yes. And I had no clue.
Yes.
But I thank God that eventually I heard Him, and I surrendered, and here I am.
And here you are today.
After being on a Grammy Award-winning CD.
You're here with us today.
Yes, I give God all the glory.
And the journey continues.
And it continues.
Thank you for joining us. And we also, it's just a beautiful thing to have this journey. We want to thank again our sponsors and our supporters, Jerry Royce Live and Pastor Paul Kelly and First Lady Marcia Kelly, for another episode of My Journey with Paula G.
Yes.
My praise on, get my praise on. I gotta get my praise on. I gotta get my praise on. It's not enough to sing a song. It's not enough just clapping along. I gotta get my praise on. Get my praise on. I gotta get my praise on. I gotta get my praise on. Just sing a song. Just clapping along. I gotta My praise on, get my praise on. I gotta get my praise on. I gotta get my praise on. It's not enough to sing the song. It's not enough just clapping along. I gotta get my praise on. Get my praise on. I gotta get my praise on. I gotta get my praise on. Just sing the song. Just clapping along. I gotta. Get my praise on. Get my praise on. I gotta get my praise on. I gotta get my praise on. It's not enough to sing the song. It's not enough just clapping along. I gotta get my praise on. Get my praise on. I gotta get my praise on. I gotta get my praise on. Just sing the song. Just clapping along. I gotta get my praise on. Get my praise on. I gotta get my praise on. I gotta get my praise on. It's not enough to sing the song. It's not enough just clapping along. I gotta get my praise on. Get my praise on. I gotta get my praise on. I gotta get my praise on. Just sing the song. Just clapping along. I gotta. It's not enough to sing the song. It's not enough just clapping along. I gotta. I gotta get my praise on. I gotta get my praise on. Just sing the song. Just clapping along. I gotta get my praise on. Get my praise on. I gotta get my praise on. I gotta get my praise on. It's not enough to sing the song. It's not enough just clapping along. I gotta get my praise on. Get my praise on. I gotta get my praise on. I gotta get my praise on. Just sing the song. Just
You know God, he's got a lot of power. And he's coming. He's in the house. I told you he was coming.
Change is coming. Never give up. God will change things. Change is coming. Never give up. See what faith brings. We don't always do what's right, so we convince ourselves we do our best. But deep inside we know we lie. It's not that hard to do right. Do you really try? But take off your mask and show the world just how beautiful you really are. You gotta know when enough is enough. Give your heart and mind to Jesus. Give the devil back his stuff. Never give up. Never give up. Never, never give up. No, never, never give up. No, 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 no. If you hear the words I'm saying, on your knees you should be praying. Change is coming. Never give up. God will change things. life? Do you drink and drug to help you cope? Face a bit before it takes your life. Help's not far away. Don't give up hope. It's always darkest just before the dawn. So why condemn yourself? Why live a lie? You gotta know God will change the world. Come on, people, raise your children. Wake up before you die. Never give up. Never give up. Never give up. No, never. Never give up. No. Never give up. Never give up. Never give up. Never. Never give up. No, never. Never give up. No. Never give up. Never give up. Never give up. Never give up. If you hear the words I'm saying, on your knees you should be praying. Change is coming. Never give up. God will change things. You better believe it's coming. Hey, change is coming. You gotta know, see what faith brings. Enough is enough. Change is coming.
Oh, sovereign Lord of heaven's army, I look to you, I love your name. Don't let the floods overwhelm me, or the deep waters shallow me. The enemy comes in like a flood, he weighs me down, trying to break my heart. I'm exhausted from crying, help God rescue me from my enemy. Come red, take me, give me the strength to break free from the enemy. Help me break free. Rescue me from my teeth. Save me from those who hate me. Let me be the light to shine and break free. Have your favor shine all around me. The enemy comes in like a flood, he weighs me down, trying to break my heart. I'm exhausted from crying, help God rescue me from the enemy. Come redeem me, give me the strength to break free from my enemy. break free from the 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 enemy. Release mercy for me. Your joy, your peace, I need it. Patience, no more disgrace, no. I need your strength, believe me. Oh, one touch from you to pull me through. Save me, oh, hear my cry, oh God. I long to live for you, to worship you. Help me break free from the enemy.
I don't do the things that I used to do. I don't chill with the homies that I used to. I don't even think how I used to. I don't do the things that I used to do. I don't chill with the homies that I used to. I don't even think how I used to. I went to prison once again in 2007. I'm a two-time loser, convicted felon. The path that I chose led me to doing time. Cause when you're living in sin, trouble ain't hard to find. Mom always told me you'll be dead or either in jail. I never understood what she meant until I failed. I came close to being dead people plenty time, but it was by the grace of God that I'm still alive. I didn't deserve it, but he gave it to me anyway. I'm thankful for your mercy, Lord, each and every day. It ain't a day that goes by that I don't talk to you. I'm in need of your...
Thank you for tuning in. You're watching My Journey with Paula G. And we'd like to thank our underwriters, My Coffee Shop of East Lake, Atlanta, Georgia, home of the amazing basil lemonade. And also, we'd like to thank Dr. Paul and Marcia Kelly. That's right, Dean and President of Pastors Time International Bible College. And we'd like to thank Positive Power 21.org for our media. Thank you for tuning in, and we hope you enjoyed this presentation.